Okay, so real quickly, here's what's going on. Um, Someone in my comments was saying about how I should have higher war stats and more troops on siege units. And from what I understand with siege units, this is my idea of how it went. I always thought siege units did a base damage that was barely modifiable. Or at least that's how it seemed in some of the older Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So, that may have changed, and I want to know what's the best way of doing siege in Romance of the Three Kingdoms 11. So we have a test that's already set up. I had to beat Zhao Zhao because you gain access to a really weak opponent that you can just kind of bully really easy. And yeah, I have a test group here. I have about 4 or 5 characters that are 5 characters that are all just pretty stupid. I wanted to show you them because their stats are kind of important for the test here. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna test war, then we're gonna test leadership, then we're going to test troops. And we won't use towers. I have towers prepared, but that's gonna be like the final thing because I just want to see if the incinerate on the towers is treated differently as the smash on the ram. So we'll find out in a second. So for the test, I've made 3 characters: Clone A, Clone B, Clone C. Each one of them has 20, 20, 20, 20 for their stat line. Clone A and B have a C proficiency for everything. Clone C, he's going to be our test for how good an S proficiency is as compared to a C. I then have Badass McBad, because Badass McBad guy didn't fit, who has 100 war. He'll be boosting one of the clones' wars so that we can see how the war stat treats siege. And we have Leader Guy, who has 100% leadership, which I thought, that might affect siege. I think intelligence might too. I don't know. I should have made an intelligent character to try it as well, but I didn't. So we're gonna have Clone A here. He's gonna lead a ram unit, and he's going to have Badass McBad come with him because that'll raise his attack up. Wait, how much did that raise his attack? Or war stat? Well, it raises his attack to 25. Okay, so now we know something very important. I already knew this, but having a character who's really good as a subordinate officer does not improve very much. So that's about as far as your improvement's going to go. Okay, next test. So this test is the troop test. So Clone A is going to have the most troops here. He's going to take a ram, and he actually can't have many troops. Okay, that was a flaw in my plan. Let me see if I can fix this. Where is Clone A? Hey, Clone A, can I, no, I can't force him to be at a higher rank than he's actually allowed. Ugh, that sucks. He would need 4,000 deeds to be able to actually command a good unit. Alright, we'll just have to do this in a modified manner. So it's not going to be as conclusive as I was hoping. I was going to have a 15,000 unit, but we'll use 5,000. It should be fine. So 5,000 unit ram versus 1,000 unit rams. Or as close to 1,000 as I can possibly get the slider to work with. Alright, 1,000 unit rams. And those would be Clone B and Clone C that will use the 1,000 unit ram. Actually, well, Clone B is going to use the 1,000 unit ram. Clone C is going to use the 5,000 so that we can better analyze the difference between an S and a C rank. Oops, back. Okay. Clone C. I wanted to test one other thing. I wanted to test leader. Shoot. Oh well, we can't test multiple variables at once anyway, so. Okay. So now I just have to wait a long time until they get here. Okay, we're finally here. So Clone A is the base unit with 5,000. So let's actually use Clone B first, because it'll be more interesting to do the lower end first. So Clone B has nothing on him, except for those 1,000 troops. 77 damage, 132. Okay, so that's pretty significant. Pretty significant shit decrease. 191, 347. So that's a pretty significant increase to up to 5,000. But from what I've seen in this game, the increase beyond like a certain threshold is less and less and less and less. So you can't just stack an army with like 20,000 men and be like, yep, instant city destroyer, you know? But these have been showing a sizable increase for that one in particular. And so the C aptitude to B looks like it's only, the C aptitude to S looks like it's only about 20 for 1,000, for the 1,000 change. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, I forgot about C. So that's not too bad. I actually thought, I was under the impression that aptitude was really important, but apparently it's not as important as troop numbers, and apparently war isn't as important as troop numbers either, from what I can tell. But then again, we didn't use a high war unit. Alright, so this, we would actually need to test leadership, because leadership apparently only attributes, well, firstly he's above clone A. I don't know, I guess rank, I would be able to change that to do it for deputy, but from what I can tell, leadership affects defense, it doesn't affect attack. War would affect attack. So that's good, we figured that out right away, so that's nice. Okay, that's cool. So here's a quick test we're going to do. We're going to run Jiako, or Jechu, into a unit. Now he has an attack of 44. So he's probably like pretty good. You know, yeah, he's my highest war unit that I have sitting back here other than Badass McBad. You know, let's just use Badass McBad, that'll be fine. Badass McBad, he has an attack of 63, so that's pretty fucking high. We'll see how much that does in comparison to Kuo Lin, who's the highest intellect character I have sitting here. And we'll see how how different the Rams are for this. We'll see if intellect does anything to siege equipment, because you kind of think intellect would, knowing how to better use a siege weapon, but that could also be lumped into war. So I don't know. I don't know how they use their stats in this game, and that's something that I wanted to know. So that's why we're doing these tests. And you'll have to excuse me while we now have to wait for a while to get this stuff done. Okay, officers are in position. Badass McBad and Kuo Lin, whatever. Doesn't even matter what his name is pronounced. Okay, so we're gonna do the intellect guy first. Let's see what he does, because abilities, I don't know, it just seems like it'd be something that might be influenced by intellect. 197, 353. So that's normal. That's run-of-the-mill. So that wasn't actually anything special. Straight up attack on this guy. What will it do? 399, 674. Alright, so war, which affects the attack stat, does deal, it gives you pretty good return, I would say. I don't know, I mean, if I have, okay, so that was like a 600 hit, right? I'm gonna have Zhang Liao just set fire to this. Alright, well, he failed. Fire usually does around 120 points of damage, and that's from a unit that isn't just a siege equipment. So I don't know how, if you'd want to have, if you have excess officers, yes, you know, if you have a guy who's really high war stat who you're not going to be using as an actual leader, throw him into a siege equipment and do that. Yes, that seems like a good return. If you have extra troops, do the same. It seems like a good return. But if not, you're perfectly fine just setting fire and having it work as well. You could also run your freaking unit's face into place and it'll do some damage as well. I'm going to reset this test. I'm going to take Kuo Lin and, well, yeah, Kuo Lin and Badass McBad out and try the Rams now. We're going to see how the Rams do, because that's the most important thing to me, is the Rams. That's the siege equipment I use, quite frankly. So give me a second to reset here, but we're going to be using these guys for this part. Because Kuo Lin, his attack is basically what the clones were. He has one higher. He just... And bold doesn't do anything, so it doesn't even matter. So, yeah. We'll have him lead a tower unit. Out to there. And we'll have Badass McBad lead a tower unit. Because that makes sense to me, to run this test like that. So another 63. Let's see what happens here. I'll also have, I guess, one of the clones lead a, with the one less attack, lead a smaller tower, so we can see just if if the troop difference is as substantial for towers as it seemed it was for rams. It wasn't actually that substantial, let's be honest. Like, it wasn't super bad, but like the war was much more of a thing than the troop number was. So we'll see. And I get to sit here and fuck around while you guys get to, you know, be fine with it skipping. Like, you just get to skip right to the action, and I'm sitting here fucking around. Awesome. Alright, we should be good here. So let's do the test. So this, where's Clone? We're gonna start off with Clone. He has the lowest stats. Let's see what he does. 274, 15, and then 130. Okay, so it's not that bad. This one's the intelligence, 706, 36. There was no second because it didn't light up. So from 16 to 36 is the difference between these two. So that's like about, that's more than double for having 5,000 versus 100 or 1,000. So that's pretty good. Let's see what this one's done. 1,400, 177. Okay, so that, yeah, so the war stat seems to be the thing. And it seems to really, really do it for towers more so than the rams. The rams did double, but the towers, he was hitting a 36, he hit 117. That's pretty insane, like the difference there. Okay, well, so that tells me I've been doing things wrong. I've been doing things from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms 10 editions method, where catapults ignored everything about everything. They were just catapults. And Juggernaut seems to did about the same thing. So, but on this one, rams and towers at the very least, the two things that you're going to use, because you're not really going to use Juggernaut very often, but the two things that you're actually going to use seem to benefit slightly from troop number increases. You know, it was a 4,000 troop number increase for these two, and it did double the damage, so that's pretty cool. But having a 5,000 unit with a character who has a really high war stat seems to be what will cause you to have the most siege damage. However, as I said previous, you're still sacrificing a character who could be leading an army to doing a siege thing. So if you don't have the extra officer, it's probably not advised. And again, as well, these are also a lot of troops that are inside of a siege unit. They can't do anything, they can't defend themselves, they're sitting ducks. You're going to be losing men if they get attacked. But more importantly than that is that they are going to be burning a lot of food very quickly for guys who are doing nothing for you until they get to a town. So I don't know. I think it's pretty evident that you need to that you should have a couple of troops. Obviously, 1,000 is not going to do much for you. 5,000 seems to be doing much better than 1,000. But it seems the war stat is the best thing ever for this. Seems the war stat is what is used for the siege equipment rather than intellect, which is kind of what I was leaning towards for a while there, was that it was intellect, because intellect otherwise is only used for, you know, subterfuge tactics, and that kind of is, well, it kind of makes intellect a lot less important, doesn't it? But apparently the war stat is the thing to make all things. So that was an interesting little run. I think we've discovered a few things, and I think we had a good time doing it. This doesn't help me at all in my Let's Play, of course, because that's done. But in the future, it might help me. So that was interesting.